Kansas, gateway to Oz. Under the rainbow, this is where it was. Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. It's the best part of Dorothy's dream.
Today on Around Kansas, our first story is about the African-American Kansas History Trail with historic sites all across the state. Next, see how the Miami County Wine Trolley was started by Brian and Michelle Roberts. Then enjoy a poem from Ron Wilson, and we'll end with a tribute to Cally Krallman, a Kansan who does it all: paintings, photography, and songwriting. Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, just a short drive down the Yellow Brick Road. Good morning in the middle of May. I'm Frank.
I'm Deb.
And this is Around Kansas. People, places, and things that make Kansas a great place to live and work and travel and see great things.
And we got a bunch of them.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of them today. So, Frank, are you, Jake was just sharing something with me the other day on a motorcycle ride. So have you gotten out on your bike yet this spring?
Oh, yeah. You know, seeing Kansas on two wheels is so much different than from a car. It really is. Anybody that's a rider understands that. So, and it's whether it's a motorized like a motorcycle, and of course they're getting to be more and more bicyclists too.
Lots of them. Lots.
And I mean, it's amazing the number of miles that some of these people will ride in a day. I have some friends, of course, on Facebook that are bicycle riders. Said, "Well, I did my 60-mile ride today," and I went, "What?"
I used to. I need to, obviously, I need to get back in it. I think the most I ever did in a day was 35 miles. And I thought I was pretty proud of myself for that. You know?
I used to ride the Shunga Trail, and I figure, hey, 11 miles, I'm done.
I did too, yeah. And then getting there and back, I think that would be like 15 miles. And I used to do that about every day. But
yeah.
I just don't have a good, this is my excuse, I don't have a good place to ride. You know, we live out on a dirt road, and it's, I just don't have a good place to ride. I do get out.
Excuses.
My workout is out in the corral, you know, picking up stray objects in the corral, trying to or chase horses to get them back in the corral.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. People ask me if I ride a horseback, and I'm like, no, I'm just a caretaker. You know, I feed them, I chase them, but I haven't been horseback riding in years, and I don't want to unless I can keep it up. You know, so just to get on and ride every now and then, but having the time to keep it up every day, and you know, and the one that we've got that would be good enough for me to ride, you know, was old enough, slow enough for me to get back on and get back in the habit. She's the mare that's just got this, you know, new filly, and so I don't want to interfere with her mama time, and so that's another excuse. I'm just full of them today.
Just a real short story. When my kids were younger, we used to go horseback riding at one of the farms around here that had horseback rides, and learned that the time of the day is kind of important, because if you go in the afternoon and you get on the horses and you go out, the horses say, "I'm done for the day," and they turn around and go back to the barn.
Feeding time.
Yeah,
feeding time.
Oh, man.
They want to break. They want to feed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, let's go. It's like, no, I'm going to the barn.
Jake is getting ready to do a big horseback ride. This is 135, 40 miles. He's going to recreate, he and some other guys are going to recreate the Kidder ride from 1867, all but the massacre at the end. They're not going to die at the end. But yeah, so he's recruited some other guys, and they're going to start up at Julesburg, Colorado, cut through Nebraska and down northeast of Goodland, or a little east of Goodland, where Kidder and his guys were killed in 1867.
And speaking of trails and rides and all that, we've got a story about a trail in Kansas.
Pretty cool.
Yes.
So another one. There's just all kinds of trails.
That'll be coming up. To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com. Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, Sure Crop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. Sure Crop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose Sure Crop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life. And here we are again. This is Around Kansas.
In case you just tuned in.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, at first we do a lot of nonsense, but then we really get into some pretty cool stories. So
Yeah. Kicking and screaming. We're dragged into some pretty good stories.
Yeah.
Get away from the nonsense. Well, this is a really great one. African American History Trail in Kansas. And of course, being a historian, this is one that's very close to my heart because Kansas was founded, you know, in the very heart of the matter, whether or not we're going to be a free state or a slave state, and at the time when whether or not slavery would be expanded into the western part of the country. And of course, that ripped the nation in two, and Kansas is right at the heart of that. But it's not just at the heart of the controversy, it's at the heart of black people finding a home in the midst of that, and then after the war. And so the Exodusters, it's a very famous story, you know, of freed slaves coming out of the South, the first Kansas Colored, the Buffalo Soldiers. We've got all that early history, but then it goes on and on and on. And this is about kind of a bringing together of all those eras and all those different stories. So, yeah. I love the story. The Kansas African American Museum, formerly the Venerable Calvary Baptist Church, was once the cornerstone of Wichita's vibrant black community. It was built in 1917 when the congregation's leaders worked nights and weekends, separate and apart from their jobs, to finish the church. That community featured restaurants, businesses, and homes. It hosted jazz artists, Negro League baseball stars, and was the home of America's first African American Academy Award winner and the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.'s lawyer, among others. Its newest project is the African American Kansas History Trail. As recipients of the Institute of Museum and Library Services grant, the museum will collaborate with partner sites to distinguish and tell the story of the African American contributions to Kansas at its various historical sites, chronicling the people, places, and events that created this rich history. The sites and the stories they tell are varied in location, era of time, and cultural influences. It truly encompasses the entire state. The sites include Nicodemus African American Township, the Buffalo Soldiers, who were stationed at Fort Leavenworth, Fort Riley, and active in Fort Scott and Baxter Springs, the Richard Allen Museum and Cultural Center, Leavenworth, Brown versus Board of Education Natural Historic Site, the home of Langston Hughes in Lawrence, home of Gordon Parks in Fort Scott, several sites on the Underground Railroad, including the John and Mary Jane Ritchie House in Topeka, the John Brown Memorial Park in Osawatomie, the Negro League's Baseball Museum, George Washington Carver exhibits in Minneapolis, and many others. It is the intent of the partnership to form an alliance to support and sustain the sites along the trail, to elevate public awareness, to develop educational programs, and to celebrate and share this history throughout the nation. Visit the museum's website for more information on this exciting partnership.
person who's involved in ag production and cattle ranching, Bill Rischel here in North Platte, told me about Kansas regenerative medicine. And after talking to Dr. Pope, we did a lot of reading and researching, looking on the internet about it. I guess the thing that impressed me is that he told me, he said, if we don't think it's going to help you, we're not going to do it. I thought that was a very good approach. I'm a former athlete, played college basketball, played overseas after college, had some severe trauma on the right ankle, right knee, joint in my hand also. This brace is what I had to wear all the time. Now I don't wear this during the day. That's a real improvement for me. My knee doesn't bother me. This joint came around quick. It was the first thing I noticed improving. You can see in the background here there's different fish and game that I hunt. The ability to walk was impacting my outdoor endeavors. I think it's really valuable, and encourage anybody that's interested to go down and at least do a consultation with them.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. And we're back. This is kind of trail day today, I guess. So anyway, well,
This is another trail idea close to my heart.
But this is a newer trail because at one time Kansas was number 4 in winemaking in the United States before
Isn't that
Prohibition.
wild?
Yeah, because I mean the climate, the land, and all of that was just right for really raising some really good grapes. Well, they kind of disappeared, but as we know here,
They became raisins, people.
yeah,
That's what happened.
Yeah, right. The winemaking industry started again, and of course this is Kansas, and there's a lot of resistance to alcohol and all of that, but it has blossomed in the state. And you may be familiar with the wine trail over in Missouri. Well, there is a Kansas wine trail as well. Okay, and that's what this next story is about, because some people got together with the wineries. They went over to
Herman, Missouri.
Herman, Missouri,
Yep.
and spent 6 months there learning how to do this. And so anyway, that's part of the story. So we're going to talk about the Somerset Wine Trail.
Woohoo.
This is a story written by Ron Wilson, director of the Huck Boyd National Institute for Rural Development at Kansas State University. Let's hit the trail. It's not a biking trail or a hiking trail. This is a wine trail. Now it is possible to hit this wine trail by trolley. There's a growing wine business in Miami County, Kansas. One element of that growth was the creation of the Somerset Wine Trail. A trolley service is now available for wine trail travelers and others. Brian and Michelle Roberts are owners of Miami County Trolley. Brian, a Kansas native, worked in sales and marketing in Iowa for 17 years before coming back to Kansas, near where his wife's parents live in Miami County. My wife and I were looking to start some business of our own, Brian said. In 2010, he and Michelle visited the town of Herman in the heart of Missouri wine country. They noticed a trolley service which provided transportation to the local wineries. It was an appealing idea considering the growing winery industry developing back home in Miami County. But Brian wasn't sure there were enough wineries to support it. We had 3 wineries in the county, Brian said. In 2012, a 4th winery opened and we decided to go for it. Brian and Michelle met with Janet McCrae, the Economic Development Director for Miami County. Janet was huge for us, Brian said. She helped with business planning and more. They consulted with each of the wineries. In order to fully learn the business, Brian and Michelle went back to Herman, Missouri, to the guy who owned the trolley service there. We spent 6 months with the guy in Herman and learned the business inside and out. He sold us our first trolley. Brian and Michelle established Miami County Trolley. One of the wineries, Somerset Ridge, had taken the lead in establishing a highway route called the Somerset Wine Trail, which linked the wineries in the county. Miami County Trolley is available for weddings, corporate events, and parties, but the primary business is the wine trail. If they stay in Miami County, we can pick them up and return them right to their lodging, Brian said. Miami County has the Paola Inn and Suites, plus several bed and breakfasts. The trolley can go to each place and shuttle people to the wineries. The business has grown to the point that Brian purchased a second trolley in September 2014. It's become a full-time job for me, Brian said. He even hired 4 other drivers. The trolleys themselves are classic vehicles, fully enclosed with heat and wood interior seats. There is even a bell for the driver to ring. One trolley is diesel and the other has a gas engine. One can hold 20 passengers, the other can hold 30. We can shuttle up to 100 people in a day, Brian said. It is such a convenient and worry-free way to travel, and especially to enjoy the wine trail. Seats on the trolley are booked by reservation, and we generally fill up, Brian said. He also has a 14-passenger van which can pick up other passengers and bring them to the trolley. I like meeting people, Brian said. It's a lot of work, but it doesn't feel like work. We're continuing to grow the business. Miami County Trolley is based in the rural community of Paola. Population 5,033. Now that's rural.
Hey folks, Dr. Dan from Doc Talk. Have you asked yourself, how can I help provide relief to wildfire victims? Well, you can go to the Ashland Community Foundation, or you can go to the Kansas Livestock Association Foundation and make monetary gifts. Another way, you can buy this beautiful print that was painted by Dr. Eva Gardner of the Gardner Angus Ranch of Ashland and Clark County area before the fire. This painting will be sold through the Kansas Livestock Association Foundation, and all proceeds will be provided to victims of the wildfire.
Fort Wallace stood on the frontier in the midst of the Plains Indians Wars on a major stage route and rail line. Beside the 1865 stagecoach station, a modern museum with thousands of artifacts tell that story, like the fossil of a 40-foot plesiosaur is suspended from the ceiling. Located on Highway 40 midway between Hayes and Colorado Springs, the Fort Wallace Museum is as welcome a sight today as the fort itself in the 1860s. Discover the fightingest fort in the West. This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Find out more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
A cowboy has a lot of dirty, messy jobs, and oftentimes that involves the south end of a cow going north. But when we're sorting cattle, there's a very important job, and that is the job of the gate man. It's kind of a thankless job because he has to make some split-second decisions. In his honor, this poem is entitled, The Gate Man. There are certain thankless jobs that you encounter in this life, like a policeman given parking tickets, or perhaps the farmer's wife who is sent to town for parts. Oh, it's about yay big. We don't know the model number, but it looks like a thingamajig. Those jobs are truly thankless, but among the cowboy clan, there is no job so thankless as that of the gate man. When we go to sorting cattle, then the gate man's simple job is to open and shut the gate when we separate the mob. But that task ain't nearly as simple as it sounds. He must decide in a split second with chaos all around. He may have angry steers a-barreling straight toward him, or a crazy cow that will dodge or jump or kick upon a whim. He gets splattered by manure and have the gate tore from his hand, but he must do the job just right to meet the boss's demand. His head may be spinning from the contrary directions about. One cowboy says to stop the calf, and the other says turn him out. So the gate man's job is thankless, but he can always protect his fate by saying to his critics, all right, it's your turn to man the gate. Happy trails.
Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego is driven by the spirit of American ingenuity. Come in for a new Chevrolet car, truck, or SUV. If we don't have exactly what you want, we'll find it for you. And we also have a great selection of used cars. We make sure you have an easy, fun, and transparent sales experience that saves you time and money. But if you want high-pressure salesmen and hours spent in the finance office, you'll just have to go elsewhere. Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're making car buying great again.
Buffalo Bill Cody earned his legendary title in Oakley. Bring the family and come celebrate Oakley's pioneering history and unique geography at two sites, the Buffalo Bill Cultural Center and the Fick Fossil Museum. Cody's statue marks his achievements and welcomes visitors to the Cultural Center. The Fick Fossil Museum houses world-class fossils and artifacts. You'll find Oakley at the hub of U.S. Highways 83 and 40 and I-70. Stop for the legend. Stay for the day. Discover Oakley. This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter. Here we are again. You know, we really haven't said anything about where our studio is today. We, of course, are at the Dillon House, which is right across from the state capitol, an historic home that's been converted into actually a meeting venue.
An event center. The offices for Pioneer Group are upstairs.
Yeah, and so they allow us to come in here and do our shows.
Yeah, bless their hearts, and it's beautiful. And I believe the arrangement behind us, I have to give a shout out to David Porterfield. Porterfield's just amazing talent and creativity. And speaking of talent and creativity, that leads to our next person, Cally Krallman. And Cally has been my friend for a long time. And a few weeks ago, I was the speaker for the annual meeting at the, and gosh, don't let me get this wrong, Prairie Museum of Art and History. I hope that's the right name, in Colby, but it's the museum there. And Cally's art is on display there right now. And it's in galleries just all over the place, not only in Kansas, but in other places. And if you do First Friday Art Walk in Topeka, you will see Cally's art at Beecham's or at
Southwind.
Or at Southwind with our friend Gary Blitch, or just any number of places. She's just amazing. She's prolific and just an amazingly talented person, and a singer-songwriter, and just incredible. Just another one of the amazing people we know around Kansas.
Cally Krallman is a storyteller. Sometimes her stories are told through paintings, sometimes through song, but the message is always clear. This is a woman who is connected to the world of nature and its creative muse. She grew up as far west in Kansas as one can get without creeping over into Colorado, and has lived the last several years in Topeka, a totally different landscape and peoplescape for those unfamiliar with our geography or demography. Her art reflects how she doesn't just understand Kansas. She feels Kansas. The high plains, the Flint Hills, the expanse of prairie, the intimate groves, the struggles, the victories. Cally was inspired by her aunt, who was an artist. She earned a Bachelor of Fine Arts at Washburn and worked in graphic design, and is experienced in screen printing and photography. Now a prolific songwriter, she has co-created 6 albums, including Prairie Glimpses, the Kansas Song Project, an album celebrating the history of Kansas with her friend Diane Gillenwater. In a recent interview, Cally told John Potocznik, "When painting, I know within minutes if the piece is going to work. There is a flow that just happens naturally. I guess you could refer to that as inspiration. Early in my songwriting experience, the songs would just come. I would wake in the middle of the night and have to get up and go write the darn things down. I have many songs that are scrawled on bank receipts, napkins, and scraps of paper that were handy when lyrics would pop into my head. There probably was medication for it, but I chose to embrace it instead of medicate it. Now when I write, it is in more of a controlled, intentional way. The beauty of my songwriting is that I don't have to write to survive, so I can just do it when it comes. In songwriting, most of the time a chorus comes first. Then I build the song around that. In painting, I look for something of beauty that I think others will relate to. Cally's paintings are a testament that she has indeed found something of beauty we can all relate to."
Well, already we have to go. I'm Frank.
I'm Deb.
And we'll see you somewhere around Kansas.
Welcome to Kansas, gateway
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
Hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. We're the best part of Dorothy's dream.